Yo, what's going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped, back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, it's that time of the year.
Time once again.
Yes, sir. State of the game. We still need.
We love a state of the game.
We need to still do that jingle where it's like state of the game, state of the game,
state of the game.
We'll probably get
state of the game, state of the game, state of the game.
Probably get copyrighted from Adam Stanley or some shit, but.
Hey,
yes, we're back.
Let it run.
We're back again, and as you can see in the center of the screen, it was the 11th anniversary. Woo!
Hey, it was? What the hell? That kind of went that low on the low key. Like it kind of came and went, even though it lasted like 2 months.
3 months. The longest anniversary we've had ever. Ridiculous
Absolutely.
stuff. So, as always, we have our good friend Captain Pappington's. All of his links to his socials down below. You can see his beautiful face on the screen.
Oh my god,
Stump's become less of a boomer. He got earphones now. Earphones.
I know. We've teched up Stump to be here.
Wow.
He's going to be able to hear us loud and clear. It's going to be audio quality, hopefully.
Hopefully.
What a time to be alive.
We did do a test, so hopefully it's good. But yes,
Fingers crossed.
We're here to talk all things 11th anniversary, where the game's at,
Absolutely.
what it looks like, what the next 12 months could look like. Well, not really the next 12 months, at least the next 6 months until we have to do this all over again.
Yeah.
For the half-year anniversary. Hell, we'll probably be back for the One Piece Day celebration, knowing us, which is literally like 20-something days away, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah, I think that's probably a great pace to kind of jump in, right? So 11th anniversary kind of kicked off with the release of that first trailer. And I think everyone's kind of anticipation of that was going to be like, this is the big moment. They're going to reveal some crazy-ass characters. This is the chance to actually really do some fun stuff. We got Luffy, which is as expected, but Kizaru, really interesting choice for the second legend there. I don't know what your thoughts were on the character choices for the entire batch going forward, but what about that part one, though?
I think with the whole premise of doing 3 parts, which, look, I'm advocate for and advocate against. I think the fact that they were setting it up for such a smorgasbord of characters, I don't think Kizaru was the worst selection. I think having Kizaru is good because he's a villain. I think having like a Super Sugo villain is always really, really good. The thing about the issue that I have with Kizaru is that the next Super Sugo was a villain. So it really what's the word I'm looking for? It really like oversaturated. It
undermined it.
Undermined. That's it. That's perfect. It undermined Kizaru as a whole. And I think Kizaru is probably the most fun legend that came out of the anniversary. And probably up there as a lot of people's favorites because of what he does. So like I said, I don't hate it. I don't think he was the timing was right for him. I think that could have easily just been Saturn. That could have just been Saturn.
That's where I get annoyed because I think the character choices is fine, right? Yeah. Like I think there's always going to be an expectation that you're going to get things like Shiki, you're going to get things like another Roger to some capacity. I'm looking at that's what I'm looking over here. I have the legend list up, but then the whole choice of like not starting with Saturn, that's your bread and butter. Yeah. That's where the money, like that's like where like people are going to be really excited for. I don't think. As cool as Kizaru is in the Egghead arc, I don't think he sells as much as a Saturn does. Imagine, so like when you look at the rest of the characters that released, you had, so let's just break it down. Luffy Zoro Sanji as this really odd structured 3 characters in one where you pull them and you combine them together, but it's actually one unit, but it has, funnily enough, I think it has 8 different arts in the game. It has 8 different different icons in the game. Wow. It's a really weird structured character, nonetheless. You had Kizaru, and then you had an Aninami, which is just
fucking love
a great unit, but really odd.
Yeah, but like they always do something odd, right? Like look at 10th anniversary.
Yes.
You had the Marine Ace. The 9th anniversary, was that the waifus? Or was that 8th anniversary was the waifus? Or was that even
8th anniversary was the waifus, I believe.
8th anniversary was the waifus. Who was the 9th year?
Dude, 10th Annie was actually, now that I think about it, 10th Annie was so good.
10th Annie was good, dude. Like, and it should, honestly, it should have been. There's no world that I wanted this anniversary to be better than the 10th anniversary. I wanted them to try and match it, but I just don't, like, at the 10th, even looking at Dokkan as well, like, I was playing that through the 10th anniversary, like, that should be, like all your fucking resources. So, I am kind of glad that it's not as good as the 10th anniversary, but, yeah, like, I do understand. It's like, well, we're a year later and we've gone backwards, but like
Yeah.
having that pinnacle of the 10th anniversary is just, and the 11th anniversary is just, there's no real ring to it. And that's why I was so happy with the theme being Egghead related. I was very okay for them to just kind of go on a trajectory of, we haven't had the anime in so long, dive into the anime stuff, make it super, super quality, and sort of make it around the 11th anniversary, because it doesn't need to be the 10th anniversary.
No, I agree. And then you move into part 2 being Saturn and Bonnie.
Yep.
So we're at Bonnie, 5 legends total.
Bonnie just didn't need to be there. Straight up. Like, Bonnie just didn't need to be there. Make her a rare recruit. It's good. Like, easily just been a rare recruit to work alongside the...
Here's where I get a bit saucy with it, right? Part 1, you could have done... If they wanted to keep Luffy as part 1, that's cool. You could have done Luffy...
that had to happen, dude. Like, you
imagine if part 1 was Luffy, Bonnie, Nami.
Yeah.
And then part 2 was Kizaru and Saturn.
Yep.
And then part 3 remained the same as God Valley.
I'm okay with that, because I was going to ask you a question. What if they flipped Kizaru and they flipped Saturn? The obvious problem with that is that it doesn't work in the timeline because Kizaru comes before Saturn.
Course.
But I feel like if you had Saturn early, the hype's there, the whole Saturn's a shit character would be a little bit less because he's come after Kizaru, and then Kizaru dropping like, holy shit, Kizaru's good. Like, really good. So, like, I was going to ask that question, but yeah, having Bonnie go there and then just having the two villains come out at the same time.
Then you have three Psi units. They all actually work really well together. Like, they all can be used really well together as a crew. Like, it kind of, and Luffy has the super tandem boost. Nami has the super tandem. Well, Bonnie has what?
Bonnie's a final tap. Bonnie's a final tap, yeah. So that
and then you have all three, which is fantastic. It works out great. Then you have Saturn, Kizaru, and then obviously, like, the big boys. God Valley incident. I
love that
crazy.
Part. I thought that part 3 was so good.
That was anniversary. That was literally 11th Annie was right there.
I don't think that, like, I think Luffy Zoro Sanji cops so much slack. I don't see how people don't think that's, like, anniversary tier or, like, Super tier. That character's, like, fucking disgusting. You remember the Super Boss? Do you remember how much damage we were doing? It's like, what?
Don't talk to me about it. We'll talk about damage cap a little later.
But like that character,
nuts, right?
They bring that, and that's what Roger Raleigh Gaban's going to bring, and that's, like, again, another factor of game modes, and that character's only good in this game mode, but, like, that's the game we live in nowadays. But overall, do you think it was too much? Do you think the
way too many legends? So when you think about it in its own right, like, we have to compare it to the last couple of years. So we had LZS,
which is technically 3 legends, by the way.
Yeah, technically 3. So
this is going to get so poetic but unpoetic all at the same time.
Yeah. Luffy Zoro Sanji, Kizaru, Nami, Saturn, Bonnie, Roger Rayleigh Gaban, Newgate, Shiki, Lin. Technically, we have to count the after party.
Yep.
So you have Dragon.
Yep.
And then you have Ginny.
It's 11 Sugos.
11 for 11, baby.
11 Sugos for the 11th anniversary. But obviously, like, Luffy Zoro Sanji, they won Sugo. Like,
they're one legend, of course. You only have to pull one of them, right? But if you want the full package, it's 11. So it was, let's say 9 for brevity's sake. 9 legends over the course from the 11th of May until June 20th.
Not just that, though.
Really extended period
9
of time.
legends are PvP rare recruits, 2 Kazuna rare recruits that work with the batch of the first part, and fuck, there was another exclusive banner that I've just totally forgot about. Oh, they threw in that the Pirate Rumble. That was actually a good banner. We'll probably talk about that later. I swear there's another exclusive that I'm forgetting. Oh, the 6+ Zoro and Brook banner.
Oh shoot! Yes, they had the whole 6. They had, like, the fucking Zoro jerk off fest.
Yeah.
During 11th anniversary, we had Luffy Zoro Sanji.
Brook obviously being an exclusive. Like, rare recruit.
The Brook rare recruit as well. No sense in comparison to. I at a loss for words. I think that because if you compare it to obviously 10th anniversary, we had 4 legends, bink bap boop, it's all together, move on with your day, right? Which is cool. But then when you look at 9th anniversary, I'm just scrolling across to it now in 2023. You had Luffy Yamato, Oden Toki. A week later, you had Rush Sanji and Queen, and then a week after that, you had Super Tandem Zoro and Alba. So that started from the 12th of May until the 26th of May. This one went from, like, the 11th of May until the end of June, if you want to count the after party.
Yeah. So what? I mean, you've got to count the after party. Like, it has to be included, because it technically was just, hey, we've got a Kizuna left. We've pretty much covered a lot of game modes through this celebration. Yep. Like, we're not just going to leave out this part. And look, if you get really technical, you had the pre-11th anniversary, which was, Vegapunk and Kuma.
Yep.
Which are regular batch legends, so I think we could probably put an asterisk on them, but they were also the PKA characters. So if you go really back, like, we covered 2 months of the cycle for the 11th anniversary. And all of those game modes got bespoke units. And I'm even counting Assault Rumble in that, because of the Brook, the Zora 6+, and take out trusty characters, but those, that PP Rare Recruit is, like, essential if you're looking at ranking anywhere in the top 100. Essential, which is crazy. But overall, I do think that I'm just trying to bring up something that I sent. Yeah, here it is. Overall, I do think that the 11th anniversary was too much. I did not have fun.
Yes, good to caveat.
I didn't hate everything, but I just think the expectation of having 5 Super Sugos, 2 anniversary exclusives, a Kizuna legend, and a regular legend, which were very skippable. Like, don't get me wrong. And when I say this, you don't have to summon on everything. But these are the types of banners where you don't want to miss them. Like, if you miss these characters, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. It leaves like a kind of like a pit of like, am I going to be able to uphold the same amount of quality of game mode or game play for the next sort of 6 to 12 months? So I think it was too much. It's something that I sent off to some people. Hopefully the feedback has been heard. But for this was before we even had the lot. No, yeah, I just got my numbers wrong. 5 Super Sugos, 2 Anniversary Legends, 2 Regular Legends, and two exclusive Kizuna Rare Recruits, which I thought was a lot too. Having Saturn come as the end of month banner and not for the Kizuna, just very strange. But dragging it out all the way to the end of June to give players about a month to build up gems for the One Piece Day celebration, because like I said, that's in about 22 days roughly. And then they'll probably throw the same structure at us again, where people have to then sort of scrounge for the gems and have that fear of missing out and all that fun stuff too. It seems a bit greedy, and it's a little bit disappointing, and I don't think it's healthy for the game moving forward. But if you want to get really technical, like we said, they dropped 11 legends for the 11th anniversary, which is just, if you just hear that, that's proper cooked. Like, that's proper cooked. So
yeah, it's like let's be honest with ourselves here, right? You make a good point of the Saturn releasing at the end of the month. Like, it's kind of cool because we got, like, I guess 18 days to, like, recover a little bit before we jump back in. But it would have been, like, imagine a world where Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Jabronskis, all those guys release on anniversary day. Yippee, fantastic. Saturn and Bonnie release for Kizuna.
Yep.
Fantastic. Then Roger Ray Legrand release for the next TM or the next, like, in that period. So instead of us taking from the 11th of instead of us taking from the 11th of May until the 13th of June to release that batch of legends, so from Luffy, Zoro, Sanji to Newgate, Shiki, Linlin, you've now expedited that a little bit more, and you may have released them all in May. You may have released them by the start of June, by an extra week, and that kind of gives breathing room to have the after party and give people a tiny bit more incentive to be pulling on Dragon, Ivankov, and Kuma.
Yeah.
No one, if you put on that banner, you're a glue eater, like plain and simple as per usual.
Where's my glue?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All you guys out there that put on that banner, glue eaters.
Cheeky 5 multi.
Ginny might be one of the most forgettable legends of the year.
Bro,
I don't know what the fuck does Ginny even bloody do. That's my question.
I picked up the Vega lads on that banner too, so I was pretty stoked. 5 multis.
That works out.
Pulled the bag. But like, I'm very happy with it.
I think that there's a lot left to be desired, and I think that people are within their own right to complain that there was a lot to pull on.
Yeah.
I think what they did well, though, was that at least for part 1, they had part 1 release of that banner, and then, I mean, it's still cooked to say it out loud, but parts 2 through 6 all released at the same time on the next day. That was a fantastic decision that they made. Purely because it kind of gave everyone the chance to be like, okay, if I just wait a day, nothing's going to change if you wait a day. If you just wait a day, I now have the enjoyment of having every single banner available to me to pull on. I can pull with friends. I can hop in a call and everyone kind of does their pulls together. If I do really well in part 1, I might be able to skip. Like, for example, in myself, right? My pulls on part 1 I binked Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and I think Kizaru in the same multi on the 8th multi on part 1. So I was like, yippee, fantastic. I mean, I got destroyed on the Nami part, which is fine, but it kind of meant that I could skip parts 2 through 5 and go straight to Nami on the same day, you know, which kind of worked out fantastic.
Keep the flow, keep the feeling, you know, as well.
You know, but then you have the other parts where it's like, okay, you have your Saturn release, and then you have part 1 release, and you have Saturn's part release the next day, then you have Bonnie's part release the day after.
Straight back to this shit.
Exactly. So it's like, if you get Saturn and you want to get Bonnie's a regular legend, so a lot of people probably shouldn't have pulled for her. But I mean, in the time period, Assault Rumble boost, TM boosted unit.
It was still a Super Sugo banner though. That was the thing.
Exactly
right. It was a Super
Sugo
banner with anniversary exclusives on it. So like, if you didn't bink Bonnie, there was other shit you could have pulled. So like, like this is like the one time of the year, and I think they do it again in One Piece. Maybe not One Piece Day. Like for the half annie with the anniversary exclusives. Like this is kind of like the only time you can kind of summon for an end of month batch and sort of pick up other stuff, because the banner usually is the illustrious part. And that's usually what you should be doing anyway. Summoning on a banner, not because of the one unit, but because of the plethora of units that are on said banner. So, look, didn't love the amount of legends, but look, it's anniversary, you kind of expect it. And if you are a person that is smart with your gems and saves your gems, you should have had a lot going into this anniversary to warrant how many summons were needed to sort of pick up all these characters. Sure, if you had the worst luck in the world and you're talking 1,500 gems for every single legend, which is never going to happen. I do want to like preface that. The chance of that happen, well, I shouldn't say never, because never means never. But
chances slim to none. Let's be very sincere there. Mathematically, it's not. It's so
low.
Unlikely.
Like, it's so low. Like
it's
I use one of the kids' accounts that I like look after in my actual job.
Kids playing for you? Whoa.
No, he's got his own account. Oh yeah. No, it depends. So he started playing in the Gear 5 celebration. Gear 5 dropped. He seen me play it for ages, and he's like, you know what? Gear 5 is so hype. I'm gonna start playing this game. Yep. He plays during the 3, maybe 4 big celebrations per year. Anniversary, One Piece Day, half annie, and that's probably it. I actually don't think he plays through the worldwide. Like, maybe he does. Maybe he does. Like he'll like sign in, but he knows that it's so close to anniversary that he kind of just doesn't really play. So he only plays on that, and he plays to summon. That's why he plays the game.
Respect.
To summon.
Yeah, absolutely.
He ranked in the top 2,000 for Assault Rumble. He gets right.
That's pretty good.
He's got like Kuma 6+. He knows like where to spend. He like on his skulls. He gets enough Kazuna insignias to get the good units. Sure, he's well behind on Grand Voyage, but he still has cleared a lot of it.
Not mine though. Let's be honest here.
He literally does it. He goes like, okay, is this legend good for Grand Voyage? Well, can I use them? Can I get some more gems from bounty and stuff? Sweet. See how that goes. Grand Party, he gets at least 12 to 15 wins every season when he's playing in the celebration times. And he has no issues with PK. Like, so he got Kizaru, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Rox, and Roger Gaban from the anniversary.
Damn, okay.
So he had some pretty good luck. Like, he went to 10 multis on parts there. He completely missed Nami. He did like 18 multis or something for Nami. And still like missed her. So the gem count is there for this kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. No, absolutely. It is.
And summoning on particular parts, but obviously, like I said, the fear of missing out and stuff like that is a big kicker for people, and you kind of don't want your players feeling like that. And I think that's what I mean by saying it's a bit too much. But for me, the banner structures, the quality of units, all of that, like within their own right. Like Staten obviously has some holes, and Bonnie being a regular legend. For me, like the quality of the units and the banner structures kind of balanced out the amount of characters that we were getting. The 11th, the after party, that's a huge blunder in my opinion. That's
far out.
The one
so bad
banner that I would say they completely missed the mark, and maybe even the part 3s because they didn't add the anniversary exclusives on there. But but you had Kazuna Legends on the 11th anniversary after party. My issue was that there wasn't enough of them. But then for 2 of the Super Sugos, you had Treasure Map Legends, which they're not anniversary exclusives like on part 3. But still, if you're someone that skips Treasure Map banners, like that's not bad. You got rare recruits in there too, Treasure Map rare recruits. So what do you think about them placing the banners over those types of content game modes?
I think Kazuna needs a bit more love.
Yeah.
Which, like, I think we've been saying this for a long time, right? Like, I fucking hate Kazuna. Everyone knows. game mode, right?
The 10-star Kazuna, if we're talking 10-star Kazuna, yeah.
No, it's dookie hole. It's booty.
It's so bad.
It's some trash. It's
pure
detritus.
The best thing they did for 10-star Kazuna is make it 2 bosses. And that's like, they made less work for themselves and they made it better.
It makes it easy for them, absolutely. Like, I'm looking at, like, for example, like, let's see here. Luffy Zoro Sanji's part, yeah, it's pretty hectic. Lots of good legends on that part. And I'm looking at the Saturn part, and we had purely just anniversary exclusive characters.
Yep.
Which is really cool. And then I'm looking at the Roger Ray Gaban part, and you got a bunch of TM characters.
But no anniversaries.
No anniversaries. So it's kind of a mix and match grab bag. But there should have been at least one of those banners with Kazuna Legends on it. Like, let's be very sincere with ourselves.
That's what I was saying, because like, we had the Robin and we had the Jinbei Rare Recruits. They came out and they had Kazuna Legends on them. They do, but they just wasn't enough. There's only like 3 or 4 that are like split, like 2 split between each part. And then if you look at the Dragon and Ginny banner, I think there's 2. There's like the Vega lads.
It was 2. It was 2 on each part. It was ass. That banner was.
Is there 2 on each part? I think there's only 2 on one part and 1 on the other. It's like I'm pretty sure it's S Snake, Vega lads, and maybe Chopper. You might be right. There might be 4. Like Stella might be there as well. Actually, now I'm thinking about it. But even still, like, how many Kazuna Legends do we have in the game? Like, you had Caulifla that released for the Half Annie, who is a fantastic legend.
You had part 1 of the fucking Dragon Jabronsky has Cross Guild and has Robin Chopper.
Okay, Robin Chopper.
And it has S Snake.
Yep.
And it has Vega Dude, and it has Doffy Croc.
Okay, so there's more. Way more than I thought. I apologize.
But let me tell you, those 4 Kazuna Legends,
kind of dog
trash.
Shit. Kind of dog shit.
Trash.
Like the Vega, like what? No, the
part 2.
The Vega dudes. What the Vega dudes on Ginny?
It had Shaka and Jabronsky's.
Oh, yep.
It had Choppy.
Yep.
And it had Iron. What are we smoking?
Yeah. Like, I didn't have the Vega lads. I got very lucky. I actually binked the Vega lads on the first multi, and I binked the Ginny on the second. But like, so I was like happy with that. But at the same time, like, I've been playing without the Vega lads for a very long time, and you could probably say the same argument with Treasure Map Legends, like Buggy, like they're good in their own regards. But like, Buggy,
I had no Buggy. I had no Luffy for a while. I had no
Luffy. Luffy's a big one though. Luffy's actually really good.
That's what I mean. Hey, I'm still here, still playing, right? Like,
yeah,
I think that, like, probably to put a bow on it, I think that they missed an opportunity to really get the ball rolling for a lot of people in terms of 11th anniversary, in terms of actually giving people an opportunity to get a lot of characters in a lot of different spaces. Like, the whole idea of having a 6+ banner paywall, like, don't even get me started with that part.
Great segue, because that's literally what I was about to bring up next.
Like, that's just horrendous. And then you have a plethora of legends releasing, and then you separate all these banners out. And again, there's no love for Rumble. Like, I don't know, like, I know that Rumble obviously sits by itself, but to be fair though, we have 3 Rumble related game modes now. There probably should be a bit more love for Rumble legends and Rumble units on regular banners and things like that, like, or at least on anniversary stuff.
We'll keep that thought, actually, because the greatest banner to ever release was Rumble based. Well, actually, maybe not. Maybe the merge banner was actually pretty fucking good.
I think the Arse Rum banner was low key. Like, I think you can't stink it on that banner. You actually can't stink it on that banner. That's a bink only.
I think every multi was a legend, right? Every multi was a legend.
Oh,
except for the 5th multi, and it was the 5th multi. It was like a free. That was a free multi. I'm pretty sure in the middle.
Find it somewhere, but it was holy. Was it a cracked banner, right?
We'll keep that thought, because we'll talk about the paywall stuff before we dive into Assault Rumble, because that's the next talking point. Paywalling legends, paywalling rare recruits that are trusty characters and recommended characters for Treasure Map. That was honestly, like, I will actually defend the 6+ waifus. I think the 6+ waifus was a very warranted 6+, because it was an anniversary exclusive. It didn't impact the fundamentals of point boosting and stuff like that. I believe they were a high recommended point booster on Treasure Map, but they weren't like if you didn't have this character, like, your points drastically changed. Luffy 6 Plus, when they initially started doing this for the 10th anniversary, didn't hate it. Didn't love it, but just didn't hate it. The Doflamingo 6 Plus came out on a PvP banner with Pika. If they're going to do this kind of stuff, this is where I want them to do it. Yeah. Corona 6 Plus, putting it on the Halloween Uta banner, didn't hate either, because like I wasn't going to touch that banner anyway. Like it's just an extra 6 Plus. Obviously, there is the discussion that the units are shit, and that is a complete side note to what we're talking about. But you probably heard me say at the beginning that I defended the waifus because they're an anniversary exclusive. Well, they went and did Zoro, who's also an anniversary exclusive. So what's the big difference here? The difference is they threw on a rare recruit on that banner as well.
That was sneaky.
To work with the Zoro, which doesn't really fucking work with the Zoro. It does, but yeah. But if you didn't have that Brook in Treasure Map, holy, you needed like support rare recruit Shirahoshi. I actually think you did it with like
I used fucking Stussy
from the treasure, who you picked up from that illustrious fucking assault rifle banner,
the fucking goated banner, right?
Yeah.
Like,
so you got lucky. You got lucky there.
If what you had to jank it up. You had to use like the fucking what's the ship that removes, like, does end of turn damage for the resilient stuff. Like,
yeah, you had to use the Dreadnought Sabo, who's just not buffing your team at all.
No attack boost, which means you get binked out later. Like, you had to really jank it up, or you had to have literally like the correct subset of characters to perfection,
which was either a treasure map legend or a support rare recruit that were very new. So it wasn't like
not on.
Yeah,
that's just not on.
Not on. Right?
It's not fair in any sense of the imagination to forcibly require players to do that. And I think that's where that 6 Plus Zoro banner comes off as being heinous.
Correct.
Is because of like those requirements. Otherwise, like, who gives a shit, man? I did 20 fucking multis on that banner.
Yeah, that's wild.
Like, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, oh, but you're a fucking idiot. Which is what I do to other people, which is completely fair to say. But from an analytical perspective, I got so many new legends and rare recruits and things that I had not... and also, I was able to pull 6 Plus waifus. I was able to get them to level limit break 3.
That was going to be my little, like, silver
saving grace.
The silver lining of that banner is that you have every 6 Plus character on that banner, including the waifus who only just came out. You had a Gear 5 6 Plus as well.
Gear 5 6 Plus,
and if you're a newer player... that's
free.
Actually a really, really good banner to summon on. The problem is that you have all these other banners that are coming in, and it's more of like a extra banner. But if you're a new player too, you've got the whole fucking story to farm. You've got gems coming out your anus. It's wild. So you have the resources to summon there. So it is a bit of a luxury banner, but the fact that Brook and Zoro probably not so much, the Brook definitely though, was such a pivotal part of the intrusion fight of Treasure Map. And look, we do find ways around it. There are ways to do it. You are going to lose points, but at the end of the day, you can still beat the content. And it was the intrusion, so you don't have to fight the intrusion. You had so many point boosters.
You fight it.
We had so many point boosters on the Treasure Map, right? Because you had so many new legends come out. The boost of this was actually pretty good outside of the Brook and the Zoro. So you could easily just skip it, still hit your 20 million and call it a day. So
absolutely.
Yeah, that was a problem, and hopefully it doesn't happen moving forward. But look, we all know that it is. So you're just gonna have to find ways to live with it or just submit to the cause. But the other part of those two characters were that they were trusty characters for the newest game mode in Assault Rumble. So I think
Assault Rumble. We'll
start off with the negative parts because a lot of people like to put shit on this game mode, and not a lot of people like PvP as much as we do. So trusty characters were the big heinous problem for majority of the player community. For myself, my big issue was that they made the PvP rare recruit basically essential for damage numbers. And on top of that, the season that came out wasn't actually meant to be used for the new PvP rare recruit. Is the fact that it got extended that really showed the value of the Lilith and Vega Force unit. So what do you make of the trusty characters?
Look, like, I think it's just like par for the course, right? I think that in any game mode in Treasure Cruise, trusty characters is what the selling factor is. You want to compete, you need the trusty characters. That's the unfortunate reality. The irony of that is, shout out to Two Shanks, we have a lot of the data that relates to top 100 and how many gems are being spent. And Dude, there's a lot of jammies being thrown to Ass Rumble, right? And the reason why is because top players, they play for bounty.
Yep.
That's the most important factor. They don't play for the gem rewards. If you're a jabronski like me that just kind of farts around and plays the game, you're going to profit 9 times out of 10, if not 9.99 times out of 10 on Ass Rumble, period. Which is fantastic. I think what they should have done with Trusty is either lower the number, so it's not like a 4x boost. So if me and Stump do the exact same score, and he has a 4x boost and I have a 1x boost, he's going to always beat me, even if we get the exact same score, or I get a higher damage score, or I get a higher life score than he does. Chances are he's going to always beat me, or not even chances are, he will always beat me regardless, because he has a 4x cushion.
Which is massive. Massive.
Which is exactly right. It's like if I do a damage score of 1 million, you only need to do 3,000 and we're equal.
Yeah.
Right?
Wild.
Like, which is wild. They either lower it, or they add more characters to that Trusty score. Or I had a really crazy theory that I think I brought up on the podcast that was kind of like muted because I'm a fucking weirdo when it comes to explaining stuff. An idea that like they boost, like hypothetically, let's say they boost 20 characters, right? The game takes your top 5 boosted characters and that becomes your Trusty score. So it's not in the sense of like if you have all 20 units that are boosted, you get a 20x Trusty score.
Yeah.
Your Trusty score caps out at 4, let's say.
Yeah.
But there's a larger list of characters that are boosted. So you at least you can fulfill that higher Trusty score without requiring the maximum amount, right? So you're not going to get the 4x boost because you don't have the top 5 boosted units. But at the same time, you at least have a subset of 20 or 30 characters that you can pull a Trusty score out of as well. And it takes your top 5 or builds out the highest possible with whatever it is, right? Probably a bit more maths behind that. But like, at least there's flexibility in saying, like, if you own let's say every Rumble Legend is a 1.1x booster.
Yeah.
Or every Rumble Rare Crit's a 1.1x booster. The same way that every TM Legend is a 1.2x booster. You know, like, it follows a similar route. Naturally, you'd have to cap the Trusty score because then people would have a Trusty score of, like, 15x. But, like, capping it works out.
Yeah, look, I do like that idea. I don't think there is a perfect way to do trusty characters.
Absolutely not. Zero.
The point, like you said at the start, the point of trusty characters, it's to make them money. Like, that's straight up the reason. That's why PK has it, and that's why Assault Rumble now has it as too. Also, just a side note, Grand Party started. So if you see me looking down, it's just Grand Party's on. So
I need teams. I need teams Grand Party stuff.
Same as last time, bro. Wipe it ace, you're fine.
Locked in.
Yeah. So I think no matter what they do, it's the negative. The negative aspect is always going to outshine the positivity. So look, there's always going to be better ways to do it for the community. It's obviously going to be way more greedier ways for them to do it for themselves. But at the same time, we now have had 3 seasons of Assault Rumble. Technically 4.
Yes.
Technically 4, but that's actually funny talking about what we're talking about. But I think now that we're looking at the latest season, this is probably the best sample size that we will get because it is a regular end of month banner, and it's directly after a massive celebration, which people aren't like. I'm tapped out. I'm not even going to throw like maybe like a cheeky 3 multis because I like the characters, unless you're Todd and you're big Nami on the first multi. But so for myself, I ranked 420 and I spent 4 gems.
Yeah,
so
I think I was probably about top 1k, I want to say, and about 3 or 4 gems were spent as well.
So I always recommend people first day get straight to the max level. Just do not waste your time. Just get straight to the max level. Run whatever teams you want to run to beat the content. Get to the max level, because then over sort of 24 hours, you're probably going to see content creators or other people just say, hey, here's some teams. Or you could just do your first 3 runs, let the content come out, and then spend the 3 gems later.
I think that's what I did. I did the ladder.
Right. That also works too.
Exactly.
Actually, that's probably better. Wait 24 hours and then do it that way. But getting to max level this season was actually very, very easy. I know a lot of people struggled with the Akainu fight on the initial season, and then people also struggled with the Luffy fight on the second season. the second season was a bit of a mess because the typings were wrong.
Mate, how do you even make that mistake? Bandai needs to pull their head out of their ass. That's such a poor mistake to make. It was good for us.
It was great. Honestly, the way they handled it was amazing. I think they did a really good job. They did a really good job of fixing it. But yeah, like how did you make that mistake in the first place?
Dumbass.
So as you mentioned, Assault Rumble, people spent a lot of gems. Now some people get very lucky. Like I was talking to Boone in the start of season 2. He spent like 30 gems to come first, which is ludicrous. I spoke to someone in the last season who spent 30 gems in a single day and didn't change any of their scores. So looking at rank top 10, because like top 10 for the first 2 seasons and stuff was pretty achievable. I managed to get top 10 for the first 2 seasons because of having all of the trusty characters, because it was such a big celebration. Top 10 netted you 60 gems. 60 gems, and I'm bad with zeros, but I think 3 million bounty. And then you got a Sugo ticket, which I don't know if it's just like a limited Sugo ticket, but Sugo ticket, and then
someone coming first place, it's irrelevant, unfortunately.
100%. Like, even if you're going top 10, it's irrelevant. It is irrelevant. Yeah. And then 20 of the Rainbow Rumble Scrolls. And again, someone who coming top 10, 20 Rumble Scrolls is fucking nothing. I would rather be 20 red tickets. I can use 20 red tickets more than I can use those 20 rainbow scrolls.
Yeah.
From 11 to 100, the difference is 50,000 or 500,000 bounty, which is a lot. It is a lot of bounty, but again, bounty is only for the top players. And then 10 gems. That's literally the only difference. And the amount of gem investment to get top 100 compared to top 10 would be well more than 10 gems. Like, well more than 10 gems.
Absolutely.
You start going down now, top 500, you lose 250,000 bounty, and you're now getting 45 gems instead of 50.
Damn.
Whoa.
That's a lot, man. Whoa.
That's even me spending 4 gems, I still gain a gem.
Damn, that's it.
It's wild. And like, sure, I could have used that 1 gem to try and get better scores, but the difference between top 500 and top 100 is trusty characters. Like, that's the bottom line. And that's where they're making money. They're getting people to summon on these banners because they want to see the bigger numbers. They want to see better rankings. If you keep going down now, which I do think is very realistic for an endgame player, top 500 to 1,000, 40 gems, and 200.
So good.
2 million bounty. Great rewards.
Great.
And then
that's delicious.
Maybe you get a little bit unlucky. You don't want to spend gems that season. You rank in the top 2,500. You go down 150,000 banners, 550,000 bounty, and you're getting 35 gems instead of 40.
35 gems is fine.
The whole time you're getting the same red ticket, you're getting the same amount of Rumble Scrolls.
It's fine.
And then if you're a newer player, like or to a mid-level player, I can almost guarantee you're ranking in the top 5,000. You're getting 30 gems. You could do that without spending any gems too. Easily.
Yeah.
So getting a 30 gem net profit without trusty characters, like for me, I feel like it's very doable. It's very realistic. The problem I had with the second season in particular, and even the third season as well, was if you did not have the PvP rare recruit, being the Lilith and Megaforce, you were struggling. Like, you were going to struggle to sort of crack into that top 500. You were definitely not even coming near the top 100 to top 500 in the 2.5 season. So whilst trusty characters suck, if they also have trusty characters and then like, hey, you're not going to be able to do a lot of damage unless you have this brand new PP record. Like, take Carrot, for example. If Carrot is going to be essential for the next Assault Rumble season, I'm going to be like, well, fuck that. I'm not summing for Carrot. Like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, Carrot sucks. At least Megaforce and Lilith are good. So if they keep going down that path, I think that's probably the big problem. And I think that's a much bigger issue than a trusty character in my own right.
No, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think at first I kind of interpreted Assault Rumble as that puzzle game mode that we've been kind of hoping for, but then it kind of turned into a smash your head against a brick wall until
RNG fast.
Yeah, until you bleed.
Yeah,
which kind of is lame, I suppose. I think the whole idea of gemming is probably what ruined the mode as a whole. Yeah. I think if you remove, I mean, obviously they wouldn't, but I mean, I think if you did remove gemming entirely, and you didn't have this, like, here's how you fix Ass Rumble and make it so it's pure, like, you gotta puzzle this shit out, right? Bit of RNG, but puzzle it out, right? You remove the levels, you remove the ability to gem, and then you just have it as 3 bosses. You can pick the boss you fight, and then you have 3 shots per day. if you want to make it as layman as possible. The other way you solve it is you keep it everything as is, as copacetic as it is. But once you hit max level, the player can choose what boss they want to fight.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that solves a lot of the issue, because right now what you have is very inflated or deflated numbers, I should say. Because what's occurring is people are versing a boss, getting towards the very end of the fight, realizing that they haven't surpassed their damage score, so they're quitting out of the app.
Yep.
Reopening the game, and it has the same boss available. So you're burning gems, and there's no way to kind of determine how many gems are being burned, because we have the fucking data. So we're not seeing that. Like right now, like second place spent, from what we see, like 20 gems, which is not likely to be the case, right?
Definitely not.
Like, you should be able to pick the boss that you verse at max level. Until then, yes, by all means, rotate them. So be it, right? I think being able to pick the boss would probably be the best approach to Assault Rumble right now. That's probably the best fix you can make. Other than that, you have to have a more formalized way of how many points you're earning from the trusty characters and the boost that they're providing, and what characters are being boosted. I think those are the elements there that need to kind of be thought a bit more thoroughly, which probably won't happen. Unfortunately, that's just the law of the land. Excuse me. But at the same time, that's what I'm thinking about when I'm looking at Arse Rumble. Is like, on one of the fights, I had like a damage score of like over 1 million or something like that. I can't remember which one it was, but I was like, damn, like that's a lot of damage score when you really think about it, right?
Would have been the
imagine if I had,
fight, yeah.
Imagine if I had the trusty bonus behind that too.
Yep.
That would have boosted me up the rankings like crazy. And it's like, that's kind of where the annoying part comes into it.
Yeah.
But that's probably and is how they will sell end of month banner. For example, I'm gonna kick it real quick. Nami got some big bazongies. Yamato got her dogs out, which is fucking crazy, by the way, in that artwork. She got her dogs out on that one. If you're pulling on that banner, you're deranged. Plain and simple, right? Especially after the 9 legends or 11 asterisk legends we just had. Like, you are deranged. If you have, by all means, each their own. Everyone plays the game in their own particular way, whatever it is. But those that were able to pull on that banner get the advantage. Now, end of month legends now have that extra benefit of not only being PKA boosted, they're also now boosted longer in treasure map, with the new changes where they're boosted over the next like 2 to 3 months.
But does that matter?
And now they're also boosted in Arse Rumble.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, I think that's good. It does sort of give them more value if you do pull for them. Like, for example, the Swordsman batch, I really like the Mihawk. I summoned on that banner. It's an end of month banner. I don't recommend doing that. But if you have some sort of connection and you really want characters, like Papi said, like no one's telling you how to play the game. Summon wherever you want to. But now that those characters have value in game modes like PK, in treasure map and those types of areas for a bit more of an extended time, it doesn't make them more desirable to pull for. It just gives the unit a lot more value. So I understand what they're doing with trusty characters. I understand that it is going to separate like the higher rankings from the lower rankings. But at the end of the day, like, what are you really gaining from summoning? If you're just say summoning for ranking, bounty's the only thing that I can think of that people would say, hey, I want to get higher bounty. I want to be higher up on the leaderboards. Which, look, again, everyone plays the game differently. Do whatever your heart's content. But if you're, say, spending 50 gems on one multi and you get really lucky and you bink one of the trusty characters, say that trusty character gets you from top 1,000 to top 500, you've gained 5 gems. That trusty character now gets you more Hime turtles in PKA, and all of a sudden you get 20 more gems. You're 25 gems now, and a new character. So you just spent 25 gems to get a new character. You still spent, though. You didn't gain anything back. Sure, you might have had more fun and all that sort of stuff. And again, that's where I say, if you want to play the game that way and you enjoy it, like, no one's going to stop you. But there are things you need to consider when saying, oh, I'm going to summon for this unit, and then make the excuse, oh, but they're boosted and all this sort of stuff. Because realistically, you don't need to do that. And when you have 4 big celebrations a year that you can still participate in, and when you have a big celebration that ends in July, and the next one starts at the end of July. You're not really waiting that long. Like, you're realistically not waiting that long at all. You can get by. So, look, whilst the trusty characters, it is a problem. Summoning for that PvP character is a problem. I do think Assault Rumble as a whole, it's not terrible. And like Papi said, there are ways to make it better. And I do think they do need to make it better. The RNG factor is massive. They have ways of countering that. For example, lots of people were using the Dex team for 2 of the fights against Saturn and against Whitebeard. Now, Whitebeard, they wanted to use Int Strikers, and for Saturn, they wanted to use Dex. So it was completely fine to use Dex characters against Saturn, but Whitebeard had a particular ability where he said that he did like a 70% HP cut to fighters, I believe it was. And they did that because of the season before that. They could easily just add on to that or change that to like be shooters. They could have changed fighters to shooters, which could have nullified stuff like the strength team and the Dex team. So I feel like they don't have to put a lot of thought into it to make it a little bit better, and then sort of have people run teams that kind of work in more of a puzzle aspect and shut down some of those big RNG teams like strength, like Dex. So I think that the pieces are there. They just kind of need to move them around their chessboard a little bit more to get a bit of a better understanding on how they can make the game more profitable for players without taking away from those aspects of stuff like that. So overall, it gets a thumbs up from me, but I feel like it's more of a thumbs up from me because I do like PvP. Like, it's another way of playing PvP for me, and you can just get more rewards. The thing I don't want them to do, though, is take those rewards from somewhere else, which there's no real evidence of them ever doing that, but there is evidence of them doing that. So, yeah. PKA, for example, but then they replaced that with the Chopper Man. You clear missions, and you get gems through that as well. Yeah,
fucking impossible to get them anyway. But anyway, that's a can of worms for another day.
No, didn't they make you just got to complete missions for Chopper Man, and you get gems?
Yeah, of course, man, for sure. And then they had the heat.
You cut out. Say again.
Yes, we want to play more, but let's stop you a little bit by doing this and a bit of that. And it's fine. Like, I think they added in stuff, and they just make it so like you have to play more. Which at the end of the day, it's KPIs. Anyone that's looked into business and economics and looking at at metrics, KPI is the most important factor.
Absolutely.
I think that we'll put a pin in it there, because otherwise I'll rip into PK for 40 hours.
We're talking about game modes now. Like, we can stem off Assault Rumble into Pirate Rumble, which is by far the best game mode of the game. No, can we
Rumble's
agree?
the best game mode of the game.
Can we agree?
I want to show you one positive part of Arse Rumble. 12,000.
Oh, yes.
Rumble tickets per month actually changes everything.
And that sort of just comes back to the same stem as the rewards are actually really good for Assault Rumble, and it's definitely a game mode worth playing, and one that's really not that challenging to do as well. So 12,000.
12,000.
How many?
Mind you,
how many seasons is that to get 12,000? For an average, on an average,
2 to 3 seasons, maybe. If you get to championship, and you rank decently,
it's a lot.
Like, for example, let's say on average you get about 24, 25 tickets per match. That's high. That's a very high average, by the way. Yeah. So that means you're at least sitting top 100 pretty consistently, which just isn't feasible for a lot of people, but it's good for math.
Yeah.
So that's 75 per gem. You know, I mean, if Captain Smelly has to crack out the calculator that he loves doing, right? 12,000 divided by 75 per gem, 160 gems.
Yeah, see. And you do that.
Okay, that's a high average. That's a really high average, by the way. Really high average. 25.
But now you get that for free.
Yeah, for free. You do is 10. You got to do 10 matches, and you have to clear the 2 specific missions.
Oh, I don't even know if I did the missions actually. Now that I'm thinking about it for the last one. What were the missions?
You probably would have. I think there was like straw hats and something else. So you probably would have done it vicariously. But like, you do all that as 12,000 Rumble tickets, which is great because that means it expedites the process for you to upgrade your little shitty gather island every so often. Which is probably still the biggest problem with the Rumble as a whole, is that Super Rumble, I don't know why Super Rumble ranking doesn't include Rumble tickets. That's another can of worms for another day.
Yeah.
Super Rumble is probably the best game mode in the game because it is just free gems. Like, if you spend, you will profit 100%.
Yeah, absolutely you will. Yeah, especially because you got the double ranking.
That's it. And then the last part, because I know Stump is more of a connoisseur of Rumble than I am, that's it seems that there's a lot more viability of teams in Rumble. There's a lot of like good teams that kind of exist at the moment. A lot of good combinations of teams. If you're missing units here and there, there is feasibility to build things, which is really important.
I don't know if this video is coming out before or after the top 10 meta tier list that I did with Itachi. There's a lot of different combinations of the same team.
Yeah.
So it used to be like, here's the meta team. If you miss a piece of the puzzle, you can use this, but the team drops from here to here. And then if you change this piece, it goes from here to here. Now it's like, oh, you don't have this piece? Well, try this variation of it that you can build, and they're still very, very equal. So Rumble's just in such a good place.
I want to give a shout out to the Rumble sheet as well. I know it's not the end all be all, but shout out wasn't there.
I did a video.
Dato, I probably butchered that, but Dato, that Rumble sheet is really eloquent together.
Yep.
It gets updated so consistently.
Really
it's
fast.
Full structured in a tier list format. It gives you guidance on who to replace with what and where, and it even has useful information. So if you are missing stuff, then by all means, please go check out that Rumble tier list. It's in the subreddit Discord everywhere.
Buy the meta coffee too. Buy the meta coffee.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just really useful. Like a lot of the time, I will go through and also use that as like an opportunity to just kind of look at stuff.
Yep. It's a good way to find where the meta's at too.
It's a really good tool.
So you see a defensive team, like, oh shit, I haven't seen that team before. That team could be a problem. Jump on the Rumble sheet, see that it's like he's got like Uber, SS, like different rankings.
Yep.
See that it's there and be like, shit, I'm probably not going to verse that. Like I can just hit the refresh button and move on from there. But I know that man, he does some really, really good work. I did a video on the sheet, and a lot of it I did agree with. So like it was very well thought of, and the teams, they're not like whilst obviously everyone has their opinion, the opinion is based off a lot of knowledge.
It's very well formatted. So it's like, like you can really like. I like it because the way that he has it, at least my understanding, like lined up. So it's like in the strength team, it's like if you don't have Kuma, you can bring in King as a replacement.
Correct.
So it's a swap for like swap.
Like swap. Yeah.
Same power, but it's like same cost. So now I'm not trying to rearrange my life to have to bring in a 50 cost. Blah blah blah. Anyway, enough glazing as it is. I think that Rumble's in a really cool spot because there is a lot of variety. There's a lot of creativity that's involved, and I think I'll jump the gun before you hop onto it as well. This new revolution of rare recruits coming in that are really unique in what they kind of do, and we've seen it with the releases of that Frankie is able to negate fixed damage or has a percentage chance to do that. The Dole is really good in Rumble as well.
It's actually something that I forgot to mention when we were talking about the quality of the units for the 11th anniversary. The 20 cost is massive. We all know how valuable 20 cost in Rumble is. Like the PvP Legend update when they made them 20 cost was absurd. But the Frankie and the Usopp and the Chopper are all 20 cost. And with the tag system, this is more important than ever. Because Nami, for example, on the side team, she needs 4 Straw Hats to work. And then if you wanted to say run Bonnie on that team too, you need strikers and some of the old Straw Hats. Like there's a Frankie Clash unit that is a Psy striker. Doesn't have the Straw Hat tag. So huge problem in that regard when we're talking tags. But the fact that you're now giving these rare recruits 20 cost, giving them really good Rumble abilities too. Like the Frankie, especially like you said, can evade fixed damage. The Usopp is basically the Usopp. I don't know if you've seen too much on the Usopp recruit. He's basically just like a little version of Sanji, the Rush Sanji. He's something very similar to that character, but he's a 20 cost unit. And then obviously has a Straw Hat tag. He's a free spirit shooter. He's Dex unit, so he can work in different scenarios. Chopper can heal. Chopper's probably the worst of the 3. But then you, like I said, you look at the Dole and the Bluegrass unit, who were designed for Saturn and work to buff strikers. And then you have the Robin and the Jinbei from the Kazuna that are the Robin especially is insane in Rumble. Disgustingly strong. I like the Jinbei as well, but a very, very powerful character to put on the bench to satisfy tags and not lose out on team damage and versatility when they actually come into the fight. So I think that is the easiest way to resurrect rare recruits, because we all know that the tier list for Legends now is Anniversary and Super Sugos are regular Legends. Exclusive Legends like Treasure Map and Kazuna are rare recruits. Some end of month batch Legends are also rare recruits, and then regular rare recruits are just
ass.
They're just non-existent 30 days after their release. Like they do not matter because they're not boosted anymore. So I think, and this is the same thing with super evolutions. If you make them viable in Rumble, they're always going to hold some sort of value in the game. And if a character just has no value in the game, then it just like what are we doing? Like what are we doing? But if you can put them into Rumble that you play every single day, you got 3 game modes that are available now. They pop up on every banner, so it just gives people options to build more teams. It's a very, very good addition. I don't know why they went away from it in Part 3, but hopefully they brought it back to the end of month banner because the ulti and what are the rare recruits from the
Corona as well?
Yeah, they both have PvP abilities. So
yeah,
it's good to see that they are doing that, and I hope they keep doing that moving forward because it is a fantastic addition.
I think it's beautifully kind of structured. Obviously, Super Rumble still has the bonus, but like I think a whole lot of Super Rumble is you just play Rumble as much as you desire, and you get. And chances are, if you're going to spend gems, if you spend a conservative amount of gems, you will actually profit every single time. That actually allows you to progress your Gatherer Island, which people don't really give enough credit to, especially given that candy is like the only thing that matters there.
The rainbow gem, you get 2 gems like every, like,
I don't know, 24, 20 hours.
There you go.
A gem every 20 hours, something like that. You get the stamina schmeats.
There's so many times I swipe up and I have 2 gems sitting there. I'm like, oh shit, I'm not doing this fast enough. So,
exactly. I think that there's a lot of value there. I think Rumble as a game mode place, I don't think it needs to be pushed anymore. I think the idea of having rare be quite beneficial to Rumble teams is a great addition. And I think that we would like to see that, going forward naturally with any kind of rare recruit that exists. I think it's super, super valuable in that kind of sense.
So if PvP is the best game mode, what do you reckon? Let's talk positive game modes now. What are we thinking as our positive game? Is Treasure Map?
Mate, TM's the GOAT.
Everyone hates Treasure Map though, right?
No, I think I'm gonna stand. Shout out Knight.
Yeah,
GOAT, man.
He will live on forever. No. He said it in 2012.
TM is fine. I think TM gets so much love and so many updates because it is the cash cow outside of the big celebration months, right?
It's not even just a cash cow though for them. It's a cash cow for players. Like
man, because fucking limit break
materials
are hard and fast to come by.
Like unless
you're me and you're a little scourer, you're like, hold all my fucking materials until Stump says you need a limit break expand to this character right now, and I'm like, yes sir.
But even still, though, blue tickets are hard to get now. Blue tickets are really hard. They're really hard to get. Once upon a time, they were so easy to get, and I miss those days. I miss those days.
But like, it's TM is a good mode because, and I want to give it a bit of credit. They put a gold tablet at 20 mil. Yep. Now. Keep it that way, you dumbasses.
I don't think. I honestly don't think it needs to be every treasure map though. I
reckon it should. I'm greedy.
Yeah,
rotate it. You have 4 gold tablets.
I think that's looking at them and more like glass half full than half empty.
Yeah.
I think if we go in with the expectation that it's going to be every month, we're going to be disappointed. If we go in with the expectation that it's every big celebration, and when I say big celebration, I mean like at least 4 out of the 12 treasure maps. I think it should be 6. But if we go in with the expectation at least 4, I think we'll be pretty happy with that. That's 1 gold tablet every year.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
We're Super TM.
Yeah. Good point, actually. Have we had one? Have we had one?
We had one. It was the dumbest idea they've ever done.
That actually, the treasure map for like 2 of the treasure maps for anniversary could have been a super treasure map.
Easily. They should have one. They should have one a year.
That's wild.
Right. Actually, I probably shouldn't have anything. I take it all back. I apologize.
Oh yeah, I think Super Rumble's just.
I agree.
Stupid.
I think like it is greedy to ask for a gold tablet every month. I do find that's fine.
Well, no, that's just talking treasure map though, right? Like we still have blitz battles that should give us gold tablets. We should still have Grand Voyage rewards that give us gold tablets.
So many Super Tandem tablets that we got given.
Wild.
Like, during.
I still have 3.
Insane.
It's wild. I still have 3.
I think I have all 4 of mine.
That's
I think
wild.
it was 4. I think we got total.
Then I have 2 because I've definitely used 2.
Maybe it was 4 or maybe it was 3. I don't know.
I want to say we've been given 5 all up.
Was one of them through ranking? If that was the case, I may not have got one.
Possibly.
But no. Sorry, not 20 mil points. Sorry, it was top 20%. I think that's 20%. Better. Top 20% is actually a really good mentality.
To be fair, if it stays, you're actually right. I remember it was top 20% now. Top 20% every month is fine to do because ranking top 20% is actually quite challenging.
I have 3. Sorry, I have 3.
So it's actually quite challenging to get top 20%. I remember I actually needed to, with all the boosters, had to actually like map out how many runs I was doing, planned. I skipped intrusions to get more runs in faster, and that's me. Yeah. That's me not playing 2.5 days of the treasure map as well.
Yeah.
So like I just don't touch it on Fridays and Sundays, and even half of Saturdays, and which I work the other half of the day. So like yeah. So.
I think it's fine.
Top 20%. I think it's very fair, but I don't have the expectation they're going to do that because it is going to then separate the game, the player base too much. And if it is only on the big celebrations where everyone's summoning, I think that's just a lot smarter for them because players aren't going to kick up a stink and say I just don't have a viable way of getting them. So treasure map, I'm a big fan. I loved the part 1 treasure map, dude. Every 5 maps was it or 3 maps? You got a super bot. That was wild. Yeah. That should be like all the time for big time celebrations. Like absolutely always. Because let's be real. I don't know about you. If you have the boosters, I never go for the chest anymore. I just go for cards. I target cards.
Cards is the play. Cards and team is always the play. Right?
I'm so hurt by getting like 20 fucking Dex tablets. Whatever it is, you get like 10 of the damage reduction tablets. I'm like, I'd rather just take the gold.
Did you see the Super Tendon Boost tablet fiasco?
Yeah,
people getting 10 Super Tendon Boost tablets from the chest. Like that's fucking crazy.
That's wild. I think Super Tendon Boost is actually something we actually haven't even put in our little notes here.
We can end off the chat. I think we can end off the conversation with Super Tendon Boost and game going forward.
Yeah, good idea. But I think like having lots of Super Tendon Boost tablets is good because like it's a very easy ability for them to just throw onto characters as like a last.
It's a free ability.
Yeah, and it's like
so free.
It has to work in certain ways, but like so I think having more of them is good. But treasure map is in a really good spot.
It's fine.
I think PvP is in a great spot. Grand Party, I know people like they go off about Grand Party.
It's fine. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's fine.
More than 12 wins.
It's fine.
You should be happy. Like, sure, getting 15 wins is great and all, and the community does a really, really good way of helping you get the last sort of 3 wins. Sure, like, investment, all that kind of stuff's going to come down to it, but that's always going to be in every single gacha game you play. There's always going to be, like, someone who has more characters than you, or spends more money, or does more. That can't be, like, the gap can't be filled there. And the whole stressful factor of not knowing what you're coming up against, or losing a fight and you lose rewards is great. I think that's still the perfect solution for Grand Party if you want to make any fix is just give us that extra half a day with an extra 3 wins because the first day is half day. Like
if it had 18 games and you needed 15 wins, it's perfect.
Yep. And then
but they touch it ever again.
But they only give us half a day. So like from the end because it ends for us at like 10 p.m. on a Sunday.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And then if it went until news time on the Monday, gave us that extra day that we technically miss out on when it starts. I think that's just like the perfect caveat for it. Other than that, it's just free rewards. I feel like I'm actually playing it right now, and I close the app and I play it fucking for an hour and a bit on day 1, sort of testing and having some fun with it. I think it's fine. But there is a game mode that that has problems, has some serious problems, and it's one we talk about all the time, and it's Kazuna, the annual Kazuna chat. Super boss. Let's start with the good part of the bad.
All right, we have to hold our hands up, Stump. Hold your hands up.
We actually, we do.
We were wrong.
We were wrong.
We were wrong. Bandai, I'm correct 99% of the time in this community. Bandai, I gotta hold this damage cap. It was a good thing.
Yep.
I'm glad that we had it, and I'm glad that there will be slight changes to it. But all right, we gotta hold our hands up on that one.
I want to say that it's a good thing now. I'm gonna add the word now. Because,
that's fine.
As I mentioned at the start of the video with Luffy Zoro Sanji, people are not giving Luffy Zoro Sanji enough credit. Luffy Zoro Sanji is the reason the damage cap should exist. The damage cap should have been added now. Now is when they should have been adding it. Because we were seeing disgusting numbers in the
revolting, horrific.
Like, the Int Super Boss, and they know with Int Super Bosses, it always gets a bit fucking wild. Like, remember when Nami released and we went from doing like 40 million to like 400 billion in one super boss. Int super bosses always have a tendency to show us how powerful we can make teams. And Luffy Zoro Sanji, they fucking brought it. Like they brought it so fucking hard. We were seeing 200 trillion damage with a final tap. That was just a single tap. 200 trillion with one tap. So that means that the build-up had to be 100 trillion damage for that one tap. So you're looking at least
Mind you, the thing is, that's killing bosses in one person. Like, I think level 50 boss is like 100 trillion HP, maybe probably more. That's one person. Boop. See you later.
Like, and sure, you've got the other boss that I don't even remember what the number was that we were doing on that. It was still very, very high.
It was still like I was still hitting like 2 trillion on the dex.
Yeah.
Over 2 turns.
Yeah.
And I was doing like 5 or 6 trillion
in the lead up.
On the in boss I was doing like 5 or 6 trillion. I think it was. I was doing
in terms of like the final number.
The final number.
I did put up I think my final number with the 1.5 times boost was over 7. It was 7 point.
It was like 5 or 6, right?
It's like wild.
If you really want to break it down again, damage cap kind of makes it so there is a little bit of alliance play because you have to kind of coordinate. I mean, hopefully you have an alliance that can coordinate.
Well, the 1.5 times multiplier was the difference between like close to 5 and over 7, which is huge difference. Huge difference when the cap is literally 1, and most people, the way that they've sort of caveated that, they have registered that people don't like the damage cap, and obviously they knew more than we did, which is why we put our hands up. So they tweaked characters and they tweaked the boss to make sure that you could do 2 bursts. So you were doing 2 trillion damage with the right teams.
That's a great thing to call out, right? I think it's gone under wraps a little bit.
Well, they definitely knew that. If you look at a lot of characters, I've been talking to Itachi about it and stuff as well when we do our team building. They build characters with specific, bosses with specific gimmicks that are countered by the newer characters. So, for example, on the quick boss, the second turn did special bind. So if you're running Kizaru's captain, you didn't have to worry about that. You had a free shot at the boost. Now, you had to tweak damage numbers and all that fun stuff too. Still took some good thinking and some great team building. But they also made characters do 2-turn bursts. So, like, if you look at, say, Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, all of their attack and orb boost, it's for 2 turns. Kizaru for 2 turns. And we always sit there and go, fuck this 2-turn shit, why isn't it 3 turns? Well, this is why. This is why they've been doing it.
100% right.
They've been doing
100%.
it so we can actually utilize these 2-turn buffs to actually be effective in a big damage game mode.
100%. And I think it really does open the door for like a lot of curiosity to come out of what may occur when we do get those changes in summer, which is now. So most likely we will be getting a couple of game updates over the next like couple months, at least over July and August would be my assumption at the bare minimum. It will be very interesting to see what changes to this damage cap is going to be. But then on the other hand, what changes they're going to make the damage cap changes feel less as well. Like, it is kind of insane that you're able to do a very comfortable 200 trillion damage in one tap. That is nuts.
Yeah.
But assuming the damage cap changes are like relative to some degree, that might go from doing 5 or 6 trillion to doing like 20 or 30, which would be kind of cool. I think that's great. Super Boss Kazuna is in an okay spot. The fact that they have made very bespoke changes to making it so that people can do a 2-turn burst, I think is fantastic. The biggest problem with Kazuna is still the 10s.
Before we dive into the 10-star though, what would you feel like is a reasonable damage cap? Like 20 to 30 trillion for me, just it sounds too much. I don't think that's something that can be hit comfortably outside of like having some of these.
What is it now? It's like everything after a trillion is divided by 1,000.
Yes.
And I think it's 1/1000. I think you have to half it. I think you go to 1 divided by 500 or something.
So that would basically
double your damage output. So you instead of doing 6 to 7, you're doing 12 to 14.
Right.
At least that's how that's probably fucking wrong.
No, but even still, like that seems like a lot when you're looking at that team, that one particular team. But if you take that and apply it to, say the team against Quick that was not getting near that, it was let's say it was getting 10 trillion. Like it's very very different to 300 trillion. So I don't think that the times number needs to change. I think that that needs to kick in later. So say once you do more than 3 trillion damage. Yeah, that's the easiest way that I think they can fix it to make it balanced across all different. Because let's be real, if you're versing it in Super Boss, you're gonna do disgusting numbers. You verse maybe
10 trillion.
Yeah, 10 trillion. I was thinking probably around the same too. I was thinking maybe glass half empty, looking at maybe 5, glass half full, and we're looking at 10. So that's
you have to think about it from a Super Boss Kazuna perspective, and also you have to think about it from a PK perspective, right? PK level 300 is purely unattainable for most people.
Yes.
In its own, I think PK level 300, which doesn't provide you any rewards, by the way, so there's no point in even touching it.
Wild. So wild. But like, like, why does it exist? Just make it 200.
Exactly, right? It exists for that one OPTC Voyage website screenshot. No, I have a there. Besides the point, right? I think 5 trillion is fine. I think 10 trillion is perfect for the next stage of increasing it. Given the fact that New Gate Shiki Linlin as a captain can do an 8.58x attack boost as well.
Yeah,
obviously with the perfect circumstances.
Saturn can get above a 10 times captain, like a 10 times attack boost.
His attack boost goes to fucking 15x if you want it, if you can do that, right?
You can stack 3 territories on top of each other, like.
Like there's a lot of plethora that can easily be. Just wait till Saturn gets just an easy amount of support is cooking with gas.
Absolutely.
Right? So I think 5 or 10 and then starting the 1,000 is probably the best case scenario. Or you kind of say, okay, after 1 trillion, it's divided by 500. So you kind of double your output regardless. I think that's probably the best case scenario. But it might be an exponential curve. It might say every from 1 to 2 trillion, it only reduces it by divided by 5. Then from above that, it divides it more. Then it divides it more. Then divides it more. Who knows how they're going to handle it, right?
Yeah, I think just changing that base number is the easiest way to sort of balance it across not only Super Boss Kazuna but like PK and allow every team to really benefit from it. Because right now I can see big damage numbers from say Int and Sai because they have that extra territory about them.
Yeah.
They have characters that work with Luffy, Zoro, with Zoro and Sanji, so you just like slashes obviously and free spirits. And then like teams like Quick or probably teams like even like Strength, I just can't really see them getting the same damage numbers that those other teams can get. So, look, like I said, we put our hands up. We were wrong. The damage cap is now a good thing, but I think now is when it needed to come in.
I think it's perfectly timed now to change it though. I think now we're in a great space to change. I do think though, all this great stuff about Super Boss kind of stuff, wow, fantastic. 10 star is still in a weird spot where it's just really kind of useless. The other factor of it as well.
Super Revolutions, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But there's also like the other part where it's like Kazuna actually stinks up the room. Like it just is not enjoyable. I don't want Super Boss every month. God forbid, no way. But at the same time, the 10 star is, I don't know how they solve it yet. I can't think of a solution, but the 10 star is just so mind-numbingly boring.
I think the easiest solution is just put the skulls earlier. Because let's be real, like you play 10 star Kazuna, there's no other benefit to the game mode besides the Super Evolution. And look, I know Porky in our alliance, he basically just skips 10 star Kazunas now.
I don't blame him, absolutely.
I don't blame him either, and I think Tony as well in our alliance, he skipped the Vivi Rebecca one. But like, there's going to be times where these characters pop up, and they're either going to be point boosted, or they're going to be good on a Rumble team, and you're going to be like, hey, I need a replacement for the 6+. It's like, well, you're an endgame player, like you should have that 6+ if you play the game. As Porky famously quoted, there's no such thing as a casual player in OPTC anymore.
Very true.
So having the 6+s is like kind of not a necessity because like you can get by without them. But it is
low key, it's a necessity.
It's like a luxury necessity. So if you just move the skulls from box 4 to 6 and put them in 1 to 4, like the amount of tickets you need is way less.
I'll give you 2 to 5. I'll give you between 2 to 5 and we'll call it even.
Or just in box 6, throw in like a silver tablet that's of the gold.
You want to really solve it? Give us a fucking gold tablet every month and then call it a day in box 6.
Nah, put in
box 5.
Look, I'd say put it in box 7 and then you got to like really go for it. That'll make people assist and shit. Like it's
exactly. You know, people pull on the fun Kazuna banners because otherwise, ain't no one touching them most of the time, right?
Absolutely. So
I think the solutions for Kazuna actually around the rewards because they're still really outdated.
That's the thing, right? And like we
really outdated.
We always talk about like wanting to play the game for without the rewards, but like let's be real, why
do you play the game if not for the rewards, right?
Yeah, and it's like obviously like you can play a game for fun, but like without a reward behind it, it eventually gets to the point where like, okay, I'm gonna go do something else. Like we've been playing a lot of Mario Kart World. We're at a point now where we've like found all of the hidden stuff on the open world. We're like we've got 2 to 3 stars on most of the maps. So we're kind of like, all right, well we dive in, we have some fun, but we maybe do 2 or 3 races and then we kind of put it down, right? Okay. So without the rewards and the initiative to drive people to play, like 10-star Casino just becomes so stinky, so stinky. So that's the game mode that needs the most amount of fix that I think. But lots of people think that PKA needs a lot of work.
Ooh, PKA is a touchy subject for because I think I'm in 2 minds. One, PKA reeks a lot. It stinks up the gaff. Yep. On the other hand, though, it's fine. If you don't,
the quote of this episode is "It's fine." Captain Papi State of the Game 2025. I will play
Cruise is fine in 2025. Absolutely.
I will play devil's advocate. You can go off and pop off on it because I actually think PK is good. Talk to me. I have kind of said it since day one that I actually like the game mode. The problem is it's just a lot more steps to get the same shit that we were already getting, and that has always been the thing that we've said from day one when they removed the point farming event. But for myself, like you get a place to farm Rumble Scrolls.
Yep.
Farm with an asterisk, by the way. You get a place to farm Cola. You get a place to farm Turtles with monthly rewards of a free-to-play character and Super Cola. So for me, like I don't hate it, and a lot of people that like go off on PKA are sitting there and screaming for Clash and Coliseum to come back. The way I look at it, I'm like, once you get to level 100 of PKA, if you take out the boosted list and you build whatever the fuck you want, because that's what people want from Clashes and Coliseums, build whatever the hell you want. Isn't that just the same thing? But you just had to make your way through a map? Like, it takes longer. Yes, there's mini bosses that still give you rewards, by the way. You keep those bad boys level 1. You just farm yourself some Cola, farm yourself some Turtles. Do your PvP fight if you want to. If you want to, you don't have to. You only need to do, what, 10 now? Is it 10? Even less, maybe? 10 fights, do them. 10, something like that. Don't have to bother about that either. Maybe you pick up a chest that has a Super Cola in there or a couple gems every 2 or 3 seasons. I don't know. I just don't see what people are complaining about so much. And yeah, it's very easy to dive into the boosted meta and oh my god, I didn't get the Hime Turtles. But like, let's be real. Like, who fucking cares?
I've stopped playing. I just hit 200 today.
Me too.
I most likely will still play a little bit because I have 10 Himes. I'm in a decent spot to.
I am actually at 10 Himes too. I was gonna post a photo in our live chat. I actually got a Hime drop and like 7 dupes of it, and I was about to tag Itachi. I was gonna tag Itachi and be like, "This is why you bring the guaranteed drop, you know, motherfucker. None of this 75% shit."
Like I think that I might not play anymore because I just don't care at the time investment, but at the same time, it literally is. You know what's the craziest thing in this world, Stump? You have free will.
Yeah.
You don't have to fucking farm the Himes. Yes, you miss out on some gems, but guess what, mother sucker? They were never guaranteed in the first place.
Exactly.
If they were guaranteed, how do you fix PKA? One simple solution. Once you hit level 200, or once you hit 150, I don't know, you can pick your poison. 1 Hime total per run guaranteed. I think it fixes the entire mode.
I think the 200 is actually a really good shout. I think if you add an extra Hime total in level 200, obviously it's a bigger gap, so you need to speed your way to level 200, which, again, it's not hard. Like, what? I know Itachi hit 200 yesterday.
Yeah, you can do it in 5 days.
Yeah, very comfortable. And how many days do they give you?
Like 8 or 9 days, 10 days maybe, I think it is.
10, okay, let's say
9.5.
Let's say 8. Let's say 8 days. Yep. So you get 3 days, 15 runs. Guaranteed Hime total drop on every run. That's 15 Hime totals. Guaranteed.
Yep. Minimum 15 guaranteed.
Now, that gives you the Super Cola, which is pretty big.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
The gems are a luxury. And what, you need to get 20?
Like 20 or 25? I think it is 20. Man, no, it is 25.
If it's 25,
Either way.
if it's 2025, you just need to, if you can build a team that has the 5 guaranteed
Technically,
drops.
you actually get the extra half day when reset occurs as well. So if you want to really stink up the gaff.
I haven't used that shit in fucking...
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's another 5 rods, 20 Himes.
But you know why? You know why I don't use it, Papi? Because I have free will. That's why.
Exactly right. Well, and I think all they have to do with PK is do that one particular caveat. Yeah, sorry, the gems are at 25, Super Cola's at 30, and there's also Super Cola at 10.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good place to. And how many? Do you know how many days they give you? Does it say there?
It says 4 days left, and I think PK started like
Monday
on the at the end of the month or the day after the end of the month. So
it's
like
Monday. It's Monday.
It's about 9 or 10 days. There you go. It started on June 29th, and it is now July 5th or July 4th PST.
So that's
29, 30, first, second, third, fourth. That's 6 plus the 4 is 10 days plus the half. You get 11.
It's a lot. Like so if you add a guaranteed hit total after 200, I think that's pretty reasonable for players, and it gives value to go past level 200, 300 now. Like you've given incentive to have that extra 100 levels. So,
and if you want to get really techie, every 25 levels after 200, add another guaranteed Hime.
Yeah,
so
or
you get to level.
Even do that on 100. Even do that on 150. Just make on level 150 you get a guaranteed Hime total. Then
at level 200 you get a guaranteed.
Yeah.
And then level 250 you get a guaranteed, and then level 300 you get a guaranteed.
Well, I think every run after 200 should be guaranteed.
It should be, but let's just say, but no, plus 1. So
right.
150
So
you get plus 1.
Yeah.
So you go from 0 to 1, and then at 200 you get 2.
Right, and then
at 250 you get 3, and then 300 you get 4.
Yeah.
Right. Which obviously, like, that's stupid because, like,
you're going to get your guaranteed.
You're going to really need it. But for farming purposes, imagine being able to guarantee yourself 10 Himes. That's 200. No.
They give you a shitload of XP.
They give you a lot of XP.
They give you a lot of XP.
It's 20 million XP per drop set if you get a plus 10. But even one Hime is what, 2 million, right? Yeah. You need 150 million, so you need 75 Himes per character. You want a 150. Like, that's fantastic. That would give people an incentive to farm. Hey, guess what? Beyond the fucking limited Chopper Man missions, mate. I would be farming PK probably a lot more to make sure I could get 100 Himes per season. Bob's your uncle, mate. Like, you're now laughing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's, I think that's how you solve PKs, by at least guaranteeing one Hime total. Period.
Yeah, definitely. I 100% agree. For me, I think PK is fine. I enjoy the game mode. Like I said, once I hit 200, I stop playing. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't love it enough to keep playing. But that's usually because by the time you get to 200, like, there's something else going on in the game. Like, by the time we come around to the end of the missions, the Hime total missions, we're into, like, Super Rumble. Or we're into, like, a co-op season or something like that.
Grand Party right now.
Grand Party's out, yep. Yeah,
there's stuff going on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so, like, PK is fine. I don't really see why people blow up about it, but
no.
Kazuna's definitely, like, Chanstar's the one that definitely needs the most work. And then we actually have the hidden worst game mode with co-op. Now, we're not going to touch too much. We're not going to touch on too much on co-op because, look, you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between.
There's no in between.
There's no in between at all. I understand why people love it, but I'm not one of those people.
I'll play both sides real quick. Co-op, fantastic game mode for collaboration, for playing with friends.
Yep.
For being online together. As you mentioned pre-show, great drops.
New players.
Early to mid-game players, you're laughing to the bank.
If you're a new player and you're asking where to get tomes, cotton candy, like skill books,
fantastic plays. Pyramble Scrolls.
Yeah, Pyramble Scrolls as well. All of it can be farmed in in co-op, and it doesn't have to be a high level. You can do like the third one and get really, really good drops. And support medals too. You get
support medals.
Yeah. Lots and lots of stuff to level up characters, and I feel like that's really why co-op exists, is to just help new players get as much resources in one place as possible. PK tried to do that. It failed. You can still farm a lot of stuff in PK, don't get me wrong, and it's a better place to farm for the mid to end game player. But for new players, you just dive into co-op, you just let that motherfucker that you sign up with just carry you, and you're good to go. So co-op, it needs a lot of work. I feel like we're a year and a half, no, a year, just over a year. Hasn't changed. Hasn't changed.
It's the same fucking mode, Stump.
Yeah.
It's the same content. I run the same team.
Yep.
Nothing changes.
Yep.
It is hanging. And you know the irony of all of it is that you can like pseudo build up a database of like an int/a team. Oh, I used that 4 months ago. And we just recycle the exact same thing.
What I do is I just throw together a whole bunch of characters that are like of that sort of class and color, whatever it is.
The characters that remove debuffs and they do some damage here and there. Dick. Yeah, I'm running that.
Not even that much too, like, to be honest. I don't think about it that hard. Like, yes, what you said is perfectly true, but then I just keep refreshing until I find someone with the like Nami Karina team. I'm just like, carry me, boy.
Right. That's
Take
what
me
it is,
through.
Right?
And it's like you don't even need to like have a friend to play to carry you through. You just need to find someone that enjoys playing it and wants to farm it, and they'll just do it with you. So it has holes, it has problems, but for me, it's just kind of there. And it just.
I'll give Todd his flowers real quick. The PKA aspect of it is actually really good. Because it makes it very easy to farm, and also like it's kind of enjoyable. It's quite quick.
I enjoy that too because I know the content that I'm going into as well, and it's another way to play the content I've already played. And
hey Bandai, it's free idea. Put in the Drey Coliseum.
Yeah. Instead of having
dude, like, imagine if Rev Army 2 was co-opable.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Like,
you know how cool that would actually be for content and just for playing together. Like,
what if they just added onto it like Infinitum C, and then the next one was like GARP challenges, 10-star GARP challenges, and you could do the 10-star GARP challenges in co-op content.
It would be so cool, man. Like, it actually like once a month they just added in a GARP challenge of some degree to like that event tab, and it was like, okay, this month is Rev Army 2. If you clear it once, you get 50 gems. Or you wouldn't get 50 gems. So let's just say, for brevity's sake, you get 20 gems or whatever. Damn! That's fucking fun as hell. There'd be a lot more strategy involved because you know the you go to. You don't have to build a team that clears stages 1 through 10. You have to build a team that clears 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's actually like low-key kind of based as a game mode, right?
That's a good point too, because it's long content too. It's like 10 stages as well. Like, so like it's very easy to just carve and copy that.
I think PKA is still a sand pit. It's not PKA. That too though. But co-op is still a sand pit that they can really explore more with. But it now is a matter of like, do they see it as like a positive money sink for them? Because It's not. It's not. All. You don't make any money. Mind you, even the upgrade, luck fucking sucks my duck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And then also, co-op medals, they medal my balls, mate. Like, it's such a stupid... The whole... you upgrade one character, it's your highest... Likely it's going to be an attack-based free spirit leader.
Odin.
You max... I have, for example, I use V2 Odin. He's maxed out.
I use Dex Livius, the character you get for free.
Exactly right. and then basically you run into PKA once you've done all your missions. Even if you mission, no one cares.
I have a tendency to just do the Warlord missions, the ones that give you the gems. Yeah. I do the Infinitum C ones for the bounty, and that's it. Oh, and actually, jargon. I do my dailies because it's the easiest way to get the stones, and then I'll usually just. The dailies I do are the ones that I can't find the low bounty character on. So, like, I'll just continuously do the apprentice until I get the low bounty mission, and then I'll move on to captain, and I'll just do that 3 times a day.
Yep, exactly right. And then the benefit, and all you have to do is max out one character, and that's it. It's such an unfortunate thing because they really tried to introduce a whole new system, but the fact that only one unit gets the benefit of being powered up makes 0 sense.
Yeah,
but again, I'm actually kind of glad for it because fuck that.
And it also, again, it just helps the new player. Like, it helps the new player. They don't need to keep leveling up all these characters. Obviously, like, if you're an endgame player and you're doing those missions for Warlord where you need to bring 6 characters, you're going to have to unlock the captain ability of the typings and the classes. That's pretty much the caveat for it. But they give you gems, 10 gems in return for that. So I don't think that's a problem at all. But for a new player who can't do that, you're still being able to build up rewards and build up materials for your account too, which is really, really good. So the game modes as a whole though, I can't remember when was the last time we did this. Where do you think the game sits now after the 11th anniversary? We have the new Super Tandem boost potential ability, so we have another gold tablet in the game. We obviously have a new game mode as well. How do you think we're sitting as of an OPTC?
Do I need to say the line again? It's fine. Like, I think Treasure Cruise is in a very unique place right now where, I mean, right now I'm looking at the revenue is like not like the most accurate 100% revenue, but in June we made 7 mil combined. In May we made 5.5 mil combined. So about 12.5 mil for anniversary is quite decent, especially given that the game didn't release jack shit. They just released some cool characters. So like, you know, that's a lot of profit for Treasure Cruise, which is probably why the game has lasted so long, is that there's not a lot that is being reinvested into the game as a whole from a business perspective. Damn, I haven't said that in so long.
Yeah, we've got a whole episode of that. Oh, I think you said it once.
Yeah, maybe so. But like, I think that from that perspective of things, like, that's a lot of free money for the game, which is awesome because it keeps it around and keeps us all playing the game. I think that...
I was gonna say, what I think they've done really well since the last couple episodes, they've actually balanced the concept of having something to do every single day and having something to do when you sign in the game. It's usually, there's always, not just your dailies, but like actually something going on all the time. Whether that be the start of PK.
Content cycle, you may say.
Yeah, it's the content cycle. I was going to say, we haven't said that word at all. So
I don't think it's been improved. I think the content cycle now has
been added to some capacity.
Correct.
Yeah.
There's more things to do per day. There's a little less downtime, but actually there's still a lot of downtime.
There's still a lot of downtime,
now, From now until TM,
there's like a lot of downtime.
Like a week and a half, maybe. You don't have to be playing PK, but it's there if you want to play it.
Yep.
You don't have to be playing Rumble, but it's there if you want to play it. You don't have to play Grand Party. I mean, you probably should, but again, it's there.
Yeah, but you can just skip it. Like you skip,
exactly. You know, last Rumble you can skip.
Yeah.
And by what we mean by skip is that you can press the skip button and get it done in lickety split, right? Same thing as Grand Party, right? Like right now, I'm pressing skip as we speak at this moment because I know I'm going to win the fight. And guess what? I almost lost. That's okay. But you know what I mean? Like, it's that idea, like it has definitely opened the door. They've really changed the content cycle in a sense to be like, there is downtime if you choose for there to be downtime, and there is things to do outside of it. Yeah. I think there's still something missing to grind. There is no mindless grind that exists. Obviously, you have PK, but that's limited in stamina. You have Ass Rumble, and you have Rumble, but that's again limited by how many gems you want to spend. Treasure Cruise still does not have that grind content that you can use your stamina on every day.
I think what
just use to farm materials.
I think they tried to do that with co-op. I think that's what they were aiming for.
And then they changed it from once a month to once every month and a half.
Yeah,
so they got to hold that too, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, the rewards or the drops you get for an endgame player are just not anything that we need. For new players, again, fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to discredit that. Not everyone is an endgame player. Not everyone is even a mid-game player, but like that is a fantastic place to pick up. Like, having times, for example, like as a new player, can be so tedious when you have so many characters to level up. So
yeah, absolutely.
I totally understand like the concept of what they're trying there, but it still hasn't really given us a place for endgame players to farm. And I think the easiest way to do that is just to slap the treasure map. Let treasure map run for the full month. Just let it rock, let it roll. Let people play with their stamina, their treasure map stamina. As much as they like without a ranking period. I think that's probably like a cherry on top, because at the same time you don't want to be overwhelmed with so much to do. I was actually scared at the start of the 11th anniversary there was too much going on at one particular period.
Right?
I think I remember saying it on the pod of GGP. Shout out to those guys. That there was a lot going on at the start. We had like the Assault Rumble season, we had Grand Party, a free Grand Party season, we had PK. No, we didn't have PK, but we had treasure map going on. There was a lot going on. And it was just a little bit overwhelming, even as an endgame player.
A little bit too much.
So I think they've done a really good job. Back to my initial point was, I think they've done a pretty good job of balancing having a lot going on without feeling like there's a lot going on.
Yeah. I want to also add in a few things because the summer update will be coming very soon. We don't know the exact date yet, but I've just gone back to the images real quick. So there will be damage cap will be changing, which is a massive. This will be Very interesting kind of thing to happen there. There will also be the addition of an easy-to-play mini game for Treasure Cruise. We don't know what that means, but that's going to come as well, right?
Cool.
We also have treasure map revisions.
Yippee, that's right. Yes, yeah.
Which is going to introduce the idea of easing difficulty levels and expanding autoplay. You heard that here first. What does that mean? Probably nothing. But if it gets easier, I don't know if it means clicking the auto button or if it means like the little ship that plays for you. With Expedition would be pretty cool. Yeah. I've always said they should have the base value multiplied by your nav levels, how many points you earn by Expedition. That's what I've always said.
Or what if they put in an auto mode where if you go into the map, you click auto and it automatically moves for you. That'd be cool. And it would just be like
if it hits the mini boss, it automatically beats the mini boss. It
automatically beats the mini boss.
I'm down. But I mean, to be fair, the mini boss that you verse on the map is if you've beaten it before, you should automatically clear it again.
Very, very true. Actually, it's level 1, right?
Yeah, at least like it shows it as a high level, but the stats of it are level 1. I should say, sorry, in particular. Like it always has the base
cool.
value.
And if you've already beaten, it has to register that you've beaten it once, so it can automatically skip it.
You have to have beaten it once. I agree.
Okay, I'm down. I'm down. Yeah, no, I'm down.
There's also going to be regarding crew edit. There's going to be changes.
Also, just asterisk said that's our idea. That's not confirmed.
Yes, sorry. Yes, apologies. There's the idea of crew editing is going to be changed. They're going to have new features aimed at users who are unfamiliar with crew editing, which would be cool. Hopefully they make crew editing a little bit more fluid and make it a little easier to kind of do, because right now it's a bit clunky. You're backing out of menus, you're going into this. In some windows you can, for example, like in the Rumble screen, I can press and hold a character and power them up. But in the Grand Party screen, I can press and hold a character and do nothing.
You can't even move them. You can't even move them,
for example. Other aspects of things is like in the treasure map menu, when I build a treasure map team, obviously the treasure map crews are fantastic, but if I need to put tomes on a character, I have to remember the character, back all the way out of the treasure map menu, go to the character box, level it up, and then come back in, and then so there's a lot of steps. So hopefully that gets improved there too.
Spaghetti code.
Yeah, exactly, spaghetti bullshit. Regarding batch power up of characters, we're considering introducing a feature that allows users to power up characters in batches for processes such as leveling up and unlocking abilities. Our plan is to enhance the user experience when powering up characters, since there is a wide range of power-ups. So I think there's going to be an opportunity to potentially like click a button, hopefully, and it gives you tomes, it gives you tablets, it gives you XP, it gives you like everything in one button, as opposed to you having to like search.
Very much like what they do on Dokkan. You hit like auto power up, and it just automatically puts it in. That's great. Because the amount of times I get lost in those menus, I'm like 50 tomes, and then you're gonna go back, and then you go forward, and you're like, all right, I need to put some more of the tablets in. Yeah, it gets a bit messy.
Rumble scrolls now got to come into play, and like I got to feed turtles at the same time, but now I'm doing P, blah 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 blah. Trauma mission changes coming as well. So in terms of like when you clear multiple missions, do everything once.
Yep.
I mean, about fucking time and all.
Oh no, bro! I don't know about you. I play on Android. I just go.
I'm an Android, baby. I'm on an Android, baby. I click that back button.
Little iOS for iOS people only. There is a back button.
There's a back. Look, you see the arrow.
You can see that. You get a mission, you just go back, and it's done.
I'm clicking back.
All you poor motherfuckers when a Blitz battle's on, I feel for you.
Yeah, hold that. And then again, like it's just that consistency of like of changes, right? And I think that really opens the door to hopefully meaning that like come One Piece Day, we're gonna get a bunch of quality of life stuff, which would be cool. But I think Treasure Cruise is in a decent spot. I don't think it's ever going to get a whole lot better, but I also don't anticipate it getting a whole lot worse unless it gets more cash grab than it is now, and that's really stretching it at that. Yeah, because it is pretty cash grab at the moment.
Yeah, but look, you look at lots of gacha games, man, and like a lot of them are. It's the whole premise of the actual game. The only one that I think that isn't, but probably makes the most money, is Dokkan. But in saying that too, like they exist to make money. So like, yeah, I think finding a balance of like what Porky said, there is no such thing as a casual player in OPTC anymore. I actually disagree with the statement, but I totally understand where the statement comes from. But I only say that because I am a non-casual player that can go back and play on a casual account and still get shit done. So it's kind of like like a mid-work there, but. Overall, I don't think the 11th anniversary was too terrible. I think that there was problems. Obviously, like lots of banners, lots of characters is always going to be a talking point. The Salt Rumble, I think a lot of people like to focus on the negatives a lot more than the positives, which is what we do as humans. So like, I'm not attacking anyone for that. It's a very scientifically proven common behavior to focus on negatives more than positives. I think it's like 10 positives is the equivalent to 1 negative in the human brain. So like, I do understand why people dislike stuff, but just be mindful. Like, sometimes you just gotta be happy with what you have, not with what you don't have, because to get what you don't have is just so unrealistic and is gonna cost you more than what you're gaining as well. So, and the people that are doing it are actually losing something too. So there's also that. Very excited to see what the super boss damage, not even super boss, what the damage cap's going to look like in the future. Now that we've totally flipped on our heads and said that it's not a good thing, and I stand by it. PvP's the best game. I've been saying it forever.
Period. Plain and simple.
Shout out to Rumble Scratch back in the day. But yeah, that's pretty much.
I think communities. I just want to quickly before we jump in. I think community. Okay. I think everyone's kind of just banded together for the most part, which is kind of cool.
Yep.
Obviously, you're always going to have your bad eggs, but I think that's par for the course in a community. And I guess that's kind of our responsibility as self-proclaimed community leaders to kind of like put our foot down and kind of try to create a path as best as possible to be as supportive as we can as well. But I think that like the community's in a decent spot. You have your good actors, you have your bad actors, but I think we are doing the best that we can with what we have. And I want to make a important note as well, like a lot of information gets echoed. And by echoed, I mean it gets sent to where it needs to be sent to. And like we are doing the most with what we can. And it really is up to the companies and the finances and the business aspect of things to really make those decisions. But we will be doing the best that we can to continue supporting this community as much as possible. To make sure that we can kind of get the most out of this game. And mind you, man, 11 years for a gacha game.
It's a good feat.
One of the longest running gacha games besides what Puzzles and Dragons is. Puzzles and Dragons is the longest running gacha game. Treasure Cruise maybe like top 3, top 4. So for us to continue on for this long with this kind of a community, it's an ode to us for sticking around for so long and continuing to play this game. So I want to give kudos to everyone for really putting their best foot forward and being proactive and being prolific and giving feedback and being shouting and being loud when they need to be, but also being positive when they need to be as well. So then there's a lot there for the community as a whole to continue holding on to, and there's probably a lot more that we need to keep doing as well.
Very well said. Very well said. And obviously overall, as a state of the game, this one for me gets a thumbs up.
I think it gets a thumbs up. I think it gets a thumbs up. Rare,
which is very rare. Rare W.
Up.
Rare W. Not in a bad way. But like I said, for every 10 negatives, there's always one positive. So it's going to wrap it up from us. We came on to this saying we're going to try and keep this around an hour, which we have not even gotten close to. So hopefully, if you guys have gotten this far in the video, let them know what they're going to say in the comment section below, Papi. What do we want to say?
You're gonna say it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine in the comment section down below.
I hope someone puts it down there before they even get to this part of the video.
That'd be great. That'd be so good.
But big shout out to you for being here, my man. Thank you so much. I'll leave, like I said, all of Papi's socials down below. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. Twitter's the big one. Obviously, you guys know GGP. But if you want all your OPTC
rank 12 One Piece podcast.
Yeah, shout out to you guys. Actually,
rank 12 One Piece podcast in the world, man. You know the vibe. No, I'm kidding. I appreciate.
No, that was actually so dope.
I love chatting about Treasure Cruise, man. It's my favorite thing to do. I could talk about it for, as we said, hours right now on end, right? But it's always a blessing to do this state of the games. And you'll see us again. If some dumb shit happens on One Piece Day, we'll be here. Back, that's for sure.
We'll be here. And we'll even quote ourselves. And look, we're happy to admit we were wrong too. We put our hands up.
Amen. 100%. Right.
So yes, but that's going to wrap it up from us. Make sure to belt the like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Most importantly, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, homies, thank you all for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye.